Hello lads, today I'm bringing you a nice little video here on a topic I wanted to cover for the last little bit. As you may or may not know, the Stoneskin set is actually kind of taking over some places of the game, specifically Arena, especially in the late game. So if we come down here to Stoneskin, that it's a variable artifact set, so you do get a bonus for every single piece you equip. But the main thing to notice is at the set bonus of 4 and 6, where you're getting Stoneskin either for 1 turn or 2 turns, which also gives you a 50% chance of blocking removals or steals. I believe this also gives you some resistance to debuffs and such. I never really seem to get debuffed running it. I don't know the specifics on that. If you do, leave a comment down below. But yeah, it's a super useful artifact set. So what I wanted to cover today is the best champion from every single faction to run in Stoneskin. Stoneskin gives you, I think it's an 85% damage mitigation, so that's something to keep in mind. These champions are mainly my picks if I had them, or if I do have them, who I would run in Stoneskin. Let's go ahead and, hop right into Bannerlords. The first champion is going to be Helior. Helior is a very good legendary who actually has this cool little skill that whenever an ally under 2 or more debuffs or is attacked, this champion will absorb 30% of the damage inflicted on that ally. If you combine that with some of the masteries, you can get over 50% damage absorption from some allies on your team, and he can then transfer all debuffs to an enemy. His resistance works as accuracy, so perfect for a go second team, so that you can get a cleanse as well before your champions go. Moving on over to the High Elves. There's actually not really much for good options in here, but what it came down to me was Arbiter. Arbiter could work as an AoE reviver with her A4, and then of course that can transfer in and she runs her A3, get a lot of turn meter fill, healing, and an increased attack buff. The other champion I picked is Ethos. This would be a good option if you're running another go second team, or if you just want some survivability on them, that kind of thing. And then you don't need to worry about HP, you don't really need to worry about speed as much. You can solely focus on attack and crit damage, since his A3 is always critical. On to Sacred Order. There's only one rightful answer from this, which is a Void Epic who is Cardinal. Her A3 is an AoE revive that gives everybody 25% of their max HP and boosts their turn meter to max, meaning they will go next regardless of speed or any other, parameters that might play into that. So I actually use her quite a bit as a go second champion in the arena. Run her in Stoneskin. Speed doesn't really matter, just pump up her resistance and you're good to go. On to the Barbarians, and I'm trying to get through this very quickly. There's really only one right answer here as well, which is Ursuga. She has this amazing passive that when an ally gets hit by a crit, she absorbs 30% of that damage from any allies that are getting hit, and she has an ally protection and a strengthen on her A3. So if you combine that with Stoneskin, she's going to be taking damn near no damage, and your allies are going to be getting so much protection out of that. Just pump her resistance, pump her HP, that's really all she needs. Going on to Ogryn Tribes. There was not really much in here for options, and I was a little bit struggling to pick, but I went with Hugo. Hugo has a skill very similar to Cardinal, which is her A3, that when everybody else is dead, it's an AoE revive, 50% HP, 50% turn meter. She gives them more HP, but a lot less turn meter than Cardinal, so if you have a Cardinal, definitely stick with her for a go second team instead. The one thing that Hugo can do, though, is her A2, which gives a decreased defense and a block of buffs, which is a lot more useful than the other skills in Cardinal's kit. So that's something to keep in mind. On to Lizardmen. For this, I picked Krisk. Krisk is a absolutely phenomenal champion who can place a shield on everybody equal to 50% of his max HP. 50%. That's absolutely ridiculous. He's then also placing decreased defense and decreased attack on the attacker for 1 turn when hit. So if you put him near the front of your team, he's going to actually debuff their attacker before the rest of your team gets hit. Excuse me. Then he also has a provoke on everyone, so he's just going to eat that damage. He has an ally protection, all that good stuff. So no matter if you open with the A3 or the A2, he's going to do a lot of work for your team in Stoneskin. Krisk is a phenomenal champion. Here for Skinwalkers, I actually picked a bit of a funky one, which is Basher. The reason I picked Basher is because he could work very much so as a discount warlord, and I actually have a YouTube video dedicated to him. So that would be his A2, which increases the cooldown of all the target skills by 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So basically warlord, just a little bit less cool. This guy's got a block buffs on the A2, or sorry, on the A3, weaken on the A1. He's overall a good champion, good for go second, that kind of thing if you run him in Stoneskin. On to the Orcs. This one is a rare of all things, and this is Ironclad. The reason being is his passive, when he's healed, will attack all enemies, inflicting damage proportional to any surplus heal. Damage inflicted is equal to 50% of any surplus heal. So, what this means is if he's in Stoneskin, he's going to take basically no damage to his actual HP, and then if you have revivers that are running or any sort of heals coming in, this guy's just pumping out that sheer raw damage because he doesn't have anything to actually heal him, so everything is a surplus heal. That's who I would pick to run in Stoneskin from the Orc faction. Next up, we have Demonspawn, and there was really one only right answer here, although you could make a case for someone like Duchess, but I picked Mortu Macabre because of his passive, which has a 20% chance to unlock a secret skill for 1 turn when attacked, and has a chance to fill his turn meter. So every time he gets hit, he has a chance to proc this. Doesn't matter how much damage he takes, how much or how little, I should say. And his peril, obviously, everybody has encountered this skill at least once, which will ignore shield and block damage as well as defense, and it's a block revive skill. So phenomenal champion. You don't need to worry about survivability stats if you're putting this guy into Stoneskin. Granted, he is an HP champion, so you're building up HP anyways, but an absolutely amazing champion to run in Stoneskin. On to Undead Hordes, and I picked Nekrit. Nekrit is placing an ally protection at the start of the round on whoever has the lowest HP. So this is an amazing champion. He's also placing block debuffs and a strengthen, by the way, as well. So if you put him into a Stoneskin set, he's going to be absorbing all that damage from your ally and basically taking no damage himself, so he can easily go into his ally attacks or just, you know, placing all that good stuff on your champions, which is exactly what you want. This dude is amazing and even that much better in a Stoneskin set, and you will see that quite often in the arena as well. For Dark Elves, I'm going to be honest, there's not really any good options to pick from for somebody to put in a Stoneskin. You could argue for something like Astralith just so that she can go ahead and place the bomb debuffs, but I actually went with Foley. This guy's got a block revive AoE. He's a very well-known nuker, especially later in the game. He's already immune to some control effects, everything like that, so on his passive here. And if you put him in Stoneskin, you don't have to worry anymore about mainly his speed, his survivability, all that good stuff. So if you have the a high enough threshold of damage dealing Stoneskin set, he would be an absolutely amazing champion to run in that. It would open up a lot of options for you, that's for sure. Like I said, there's not really any other good options in Dark Elf, so it was a bit of a push to try and put Foley in there. Same kind of deal here actually at Knight Revenant. I ended up picking Rector Drath just because she has the perfect veil. She has the reviving a single target revive, I should say, and she's healing everybody if they're under a veil or perfect veil. So having her stay up would definitely be nice. Personally, I just run my Rector Drath in a high resistance build. She's also force, meaning that she can go against magic affinity very effectively, and most of the good nukers in the game are going to be magic, so she's a very strong champion for the arena as it is, but running her in Stoneskin would bump it up a little bit. Other than that, there's not really anyone here I could justify running in a Stoneskin set, unfortunately. On to Dwarves. I'm going to go ahead and pick Tormund as my pick from the Dwarf faction. The longer he stays alive, and especially if he's slow, the enemy team is going to be lapping him, meaning they're going to be putting out so many buffs that his passive has a lot higher chance of freezing everybody, which then gives the rest of your team a chance to do their work. He's also placing provokes if they're not under a freeze, so then when those provokes come into him, he's not taking really any damage from it. So Tormund would be an amazing champion for you to have in a Stoneskin set. And my pick from the Shadowkin faction is Yumiko. Granted, the Shadowkins don't really have any good options to run in Stoneskin, so this is what I just threw together. I would put Yumiko in Stoneskin if I had to pick somebody from this faction. There's not really any great revivers. There's not really any great people that would do well in it besides her, and she's not even the best suited to a Stoneskin build. But if you had to pick, and if it was, you know, a desperate kind of situation, Yumiko is who I'd go with. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you next time.